Hi Blue Marble Riders. I shot this vid on e-bikes nearly a year ago, but because there have been developments since, I thought I'd add some more thoughts and narration to it to include new details and facts that have emerged about electric bikes in the past few months. This is still a motovlog, that is, most of it is genuinely me chatting to you from the perch of my bike, but I've added some narration to add some more relevance to it. What this video isn't about is which type of bike you would prefer, ice or electric. That's an individual choice that for now we still have. Me, I like the byproducts of the inherently imperfect design that the internal combustion engine is. I would miss the transmission of power via mild vibrations through the chassis. I'd miss the sonorous and throaty exhaust notes. I would miss the changes in the power delivery depending on the rev range you're in. And most of all, I'd miss the feeling of synchronicity between man and machine that a perfectly executed gear change gives me. But others? They wouldn't. They'd rave about the incredibly quiet, smooth, linear torque that sent them past a liter bike with ease, the low running costs, and the gearless, instant power regardless of the throttle opening or RPM you're in. So in this video, I've tried to keep away from my personal preference and stick to cold, hard facts, as they are today in early 2019. In time, a very short time in fact, this video will become as obsolete as the bikes that we are riding today. As most of you know, I've just bought a new bike. What is it? Well, I'm not going to tell you until the reveal in May or June. But I'll say this much, it wasn't an electric bike, as tempting as they are. And the first thing I'll say is this is just my opinion. You're entitled to yours, of course you are. I've just done a couple of days of amateur research, looked at a few facts and come up with my own conclusion. Don't take any of what I say too seriously. I don't want a lot of vitriolic comments below from ice engine bike owners or electric bike owners. Just see it for what it is, one person's opinion on whether or not buying an electric bike was right for him and why.
Well, hi Blue Marble Riders. In front of me I've got yet another electric car, and he's turning up as a Hyundai Ioniq, full electric. Looks a little like a rip-off of a Prius to me, but anyway, with that aside and the thought going to electric vehicles, what does that mean for motorcycles? Now, I've been watching a lot of vlogs lately on electric bikes. Almost tempted by one. If you ever watch RJ, Royal Jordanian, he's just come out, and if you know how much he loves his Nuda, you know, the old Husqvarna Nuda, I think it's a 900 single or twin, I think twin actually. Beautiful sound he has on it, and I'm very envious of that bike. Looks like he slices through London traffic like a surgeon's scalpel. He has just come out after riding it for a short period of time, saying that it is the best commuting bike he's ever ridden on, and he would prefer it to the Nuda commuting in town. Now, he didn't say he likes it better than the Nuda for ownership, he just said for commuting, but for me that is very high praise from someone who, well, let's face it, he knows what he's doing through town, doesn't he? He commutes every day, or most days in the week through London, and the spaces he gets into are pretty phenomenal. And he used it to great effect. My only concern about them, now of course if you know anything about electric vehicles, whether they're bikes or cars, they're the exact opposite to ICE vehicles. That means the internal combustion engine. They're the exact opposite to the internal combustion engine vehicles in the fact that they do not like highway driving like this. If you're going to keep at a single speed and drive down the highway, then you're going to run that battery down really quickly. They're not optimized for that. It's not how they work. They work through regeneration, and in particular acceleration and braking. So they're the opposite to ICE engines, internal combustion engines, because they love stopping and starting. As we know, ICE engines don't like doing that. They're very poor economy. They've got they get all sorts of stresses from that, whereas the electric engines, they do their lots of regeneration, etc., from that sort of thing. However, the other side to it is I can't help looking at him riding through London on that silent, almost silent vehicle and thinking, you know, he's just locked out one of the 5 senses that we have to saving his life. Now he has all the acceleration he wants, more than most regular bikes, up to 60 miles an hour for sure. A litre bike can't keep up to 60 miles an hour with an electric bike, and that's there's no doubt that he's got loud pipes on those bikes. That's originally why he put them on there, and if you hear him using the Nuda, he's constantly revving it while he's slicing through traffic. He pulls the clutch and he revs it. When he's going through traffic, he uses it as if it's a horn. He doesn't bother with a horn, he revs his engine. It's very, very loud. So how he can square that with driving an electric bike in London and still feeling as safe, I'm not sure. It's something that would definitely make me think twice about buying one for that sort of thing.
One fact often touted by e-bike manufacturers, ITKs and aficionados, are that e-bikes have a big advantage with regards to cost of ownership, lack of maintenance and running costs. But I'm skeptical about this, and I'll tell you why. Whenever I've bought something based on claims made by the media or by manufacturers about cost savings, I've frequently been blindsided by hidden costs or costs that are just simply unforeseen to me. With e-bikes, straight away we know they come at a premium. Buy the brand new and very sexy Zero SRF. Have you seen it yet? It's the Street Fighter, which is the latest model in their range of phenomenal bikes. 200 kilometers an hour top speed, not great, but 140 foot-pounds of torque, only 226 kilograms, only 60 minutes optimal charge time, and so on. Cost $2 for a full recharge. Purchase price in Canada around $26,000. Sounds good, except for the price, right? Compare that to an equivalent ice bike, perhaps Yamaha's MT-10 SP, which is $16,300, some 10 grand cheaper. But that initial outlay that you're going to pay for the e-bike is supposedly offset by the lower maintenance costs of it. No oil or fluids, no filters, no gas, no valve checks and adjustments. This can all add up. Valve checks, services, etc. can add up to as much as $1,000 for a major service on an ice engine bike at any given time. Obviously, both e-bikes and ice bikes consume chains, sprockets, tires, brakes, bulbs, etc., so these are largely irrelevant in factoring the cost of ownership between the bikes. But a valve check and an air filter change on an MT-10 is every 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles. A spark plug change is required every 20,000 kilometers or 12,000 miles, and an oil change every 10,000 kilometers or 6,000 miles, etc. So a major factor in your cost of ownership will come down to how long you keep that bike. If you're like the typical North American, that's between 2 and 5 years. That doesn't give you much time to recoup your initial extra financial hit when buying an e-bike. In fact, you may not even get to a valve check before you trade in or decide to sell, perhaps to try something different, something you may be loath to do if you've recently purchased an e-bike. But say you do keep your e-bike for 5 years or more. You should know this: Zero only warranty the battery for 5 years. If you look at the fine print in the Zero and many other e-bike manufacturers' warranties, you will find that this warranty is also conditional, as, to be fair, are most ice bike warranties. But some of the conditions are startling for electric bikes. Zero expect during the course of normal wear and tear for your battery capacity to degrade, whatever that means, by up to 20% per year. Only if your battery degrades more than this will they replace it, and that's only if you've demonstrated proper use. And this list for proper use is extensive, including never storing your Zero bike for more than 30 days at less than 30% charge. There are many more conditions. If you add aftermarket mods to your bike, or even get Zero themselves to alter it in any way, the warranty on the battery is void. If you use a non-Zero charger, you will also void the warranty. Only charge at home, folks. Which of course then brings us to the big bugbear about electric bikes, the range. Surely that's been improved in the last year. Well, it's not bad. The remarkable Zero SRF now has a range claimed by Zero as 260 kilometers. Sounds good, right? I mean, you know, the average tank of a Street Fighter, it might get you 120 miles, 130, maybe 140. It's about equivalent. Even better, actually. But then you have to read the fine print again. The Zero SRF Premium will do 260 kilometers in the city. On the highway at a very, very gentle, sedate and constant 55 miles an hour, that will drop to about 160 kilometers or 100 miles. If, though, you want to travel at more motorcycle speeds, say, still illegal 70 miles an hour or 113 kilometers an hour in most jurisdictions, well then that's going to drop to 82 miles or 132 kilometers. I'm not sure that's enough yet.
For me, electric bikes aren't there yet. I would love to try one, and I think I would really, really enjoy it. But from a practicality standpoint and from a safety standpoint, I can't square it. What do you think? What do you think out there in motorcycle land, in motovlogging land? Okay, that's enough from me. Leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe please if you can, share, and let me know what you think. Are electric bikes for you? Will you miss anything about conventional bikes, ice engine bikes? Probably not the gas prices right now. Thanks for listening, guys. That's all from me. That's the BlueMarbleRider out.